But when you're there, they track everything. Like she even goes to the extreme of like sticking a note saying, I won out in the tip of a Sharpie. What am I trying to say?
Cap.
Thank you. Sharpie cap, and tries to basically ingest it.
Okay, we are back with another episode for you this week. It's going to be a pretty fun one. We're talking about some of the most random stuff. We are a little late on the Will Smith stuff, but we're talking about that.
Yeah.
A little bit of punk pop where I really don't.
Shane leans back.
Yeah, I lean back and relax and sit on my phone for a little bit.
Time to Google what to talk about next.
Yeah, a little bit of some Elon Musk. But the guest today...
Elon Musk.
Must buy Twitter. Our guest today, though, is someone special to both of us. Big part of our lives. My beautiful girlfriend, Ashton Nix.
Aww.
Taylor's other girlfriend, Ashton Nix. And it's just going to be a really, really fun episode. I can't wait for you to see it.
And you're about to see it right now.
This is Unfiltered with Shane and Taylor.
Why can't I say my own name?
This is Unfiltered with Shane.
Oh, and Taylor.
That's why you can't say your own name. If you like your podcast filtered, I suggest you turn it off now.
Right now. So this is kind of fun because this is actually the second time you're on the podcast, but...
we're only going to air one.
Yeah. I went through and I did try to salvage some things off of that one. And I was like, I can do something. And actually the part that actually was captured was not great. It was just boring and didn't make sense.
Oh.
Yeah, for those that don't know, I was blurred out the whole time and autofocus failed me, and yeah.
That sucks because we had some really good conversations.
Oh, there was.
We were hilarious.
There was some definitely good conversations.
Maybe you can cut it out to where it's just you two and I'm not in it anymore.
Possibly. If I didn't delete that footage already because I was just mad.
Okay.
I think I still have it. So welcome back for the first time on the podcast.
Well, seems no one's seen the first one.
Yeah.
Let's do introductions again. Tell us your life story.
My life story?
Yeah.
The entire life.
No.
Born into the city of Wichita.
No. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, so you were born and raised here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Went to Valley Center.
Yep. Grew up in Valley Center and then moved to Wichita when I was 17. And then lived there and then moved to Derby, almost 3 years ago. 2.5, I guess, if you want to say.
Dang.
Yeah. Had a baby at 25. I love Mr. Beck Avery Daniel.
Back to Shrek.
My world. Yep. Yeah. Now we're here together.
And we met at a photo shoot.
Mm-hmm.
It was the neon shoot. And I don't really remember that shoot very well. But
I had my eyes on you, but you didn't have yours on me yet.
yeah. For those that don't know, Ashton and I are dating. This is not just a weird back and forth.
They're falling in love right before your eyes.
Yes. It's the first time we met.
No, it's interesting because like I'm a very like face visual type person, even on like shoots and stuff like that. So I really like paid attention and like recognized every person coming in and out of that shoot. Whereas Shane gets very business mode, and y'all were dressed up, not looking normal.
I did not look like myself.
No.
I mean, I had like long, like alien looking hair, neon leather skirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
But I remembered like even just like remembering your name from that shoot. Like I try to remember names really hard because I'm really bad at it. But yeah, then we were at the Brickyard for, I can't remember. It was like for a meat.
It was for a, it was like a test for a beef commercial.
Which is funny because you're a vegetarian.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't remember if we talked about this last time, but I think I told you, but I don't know if I told you. Did you know that Keanu shoved a burger in my mouth?
Yes.
Yeah. Beef. And wait,
And he knew?
Well, yeah. I mean, it really wasn't like, he really didn't have an option because I can't remember. Do you remember who ran that?
Mm-hmm.
Taylor knows him.
I can't remember who it
remember
was,
their
but
names.
George, right?
Yeah, I thought it was Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob George.
But he basically, like, out of nowhere, he came over to us at the table and was like, okay, we're going to come over here, and then I'm going to say, take a bite, and I need you to do that, and then we'll cut.
And you're like, this is
But
a
no,
Beyond Burger, right?
he wasn't talking to me. He was talking to the whole table.
Oh.
It just so happened that me, out of everyone, because I remember going over to Keanu, and I was like, I'm a vegetarian. What do I do? He was like, it'll be fine. No, he's not going to pick you. And then he came over and looked at me and told me. And so I looked at Keanu, and I was like, what do I do? Keanu goes, picked up the burger that was like this big and just shoved it in my mouth and was like, here you go. And like shoved it in my mouth, made me take a bite. And then I had to act like I was enjoying it. And then when he said cut, I was like, bleh.
Oh my goodness. Did you know it was a beef commercial like going into this?
No.
I was wondering how you could support such a thing.
Yeah. No. I thought it was just like a meetup.
Yeah.
Meet up.
It seemed very, because we were invited to this and then we just didn't take part in it, but we were like,
yeah, you fools like sat in the back, and the only way that I was able to pick you guys out is because you had on this like pastel pink color sweatshirt on.
Man, what was
That's
I wearing?
very unlike you.
I was going through a hard time.
Well, what's funny is that the reason that I showed up there was because I was talking to somebody else, remember?
Yeah.
And I went to meet her, and then ended up hanging out with her. So
He was like, who's that girl in the green sweater?
yeah, with the dump truck that just doesn't quit.
And Aaron's like, that's Ashton.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I was like,
"Who's
yeah, the
that?"
girl from the shoot.
Mm-hmm.
The one that looked like an alien.
Yep. The only thing I remember really from the shoot was that, I mean, now I remember it, excuse me, is that she was within that shoot, we did a ton of smoke grenades, and the models would be coming out of the smoke, and they're like all serious. I can't even say this without laughing. They're all serious face, and every time Ash would come out, she'd go, dying from the smoke. I can't do it. I have so many pictures, I think, still somewhere on a hard drive of her just like...
I have video.
I was so mad too because I really wanted to get it, but my eyes are super sensitive, and it was just like as soon as that smoke would hit my eyes, I would have to blink because they were burning so bad.
It's rough, and it's even like it was blowing at us, so we're trying to like shoot the shot. And
Yeah.
It's just like
I feel like a few times we just closed our eyes and walked backwards.
Yeah.
And it's like, we'll get it.
I think I
We'll
did
get
too, and you and I are both like.
Yep.
Yeah, but I do remember, and now knowing Shane, like him and his bluntness, I think I did it maybe at most 3 times. And now it's like if I don't do something, we're like, take multiple times until we get it. But after the 3rd one, Shane was like, all right, you're done.
Yep.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You gave a valiant effort and you failed. Now get out of my sight.
Yeah.
You just. Yep.
Quick question. Was that like you guys moved? Hi, by the way, first off.
Augie is here with us
Popping out.
today.
Yeah, by the way, we have a producer now.
We have a black guy.
By the way, we needed diversity and inclusion.
Was that the picture of you and Shane? Like, one's like taking video like above and Shane's like below or whatever.
It's one of my favorite pictures.
That's the picture.
Do we have that photo somewhere?
We'll throw it up.
Okay, we'll throw it up. Yeah, throw it up, Augie, in the post. But yes, that's the one. And I was like, at first I wanted to edit out because a little bit of my underwear is showing, I think. And then I was like, I'll just leave it.
Well, Amanda took it on her phone, and I instantly texted her, and I was like, I need that photo. Because it was something that was like, Shane and I have always had that natural instinct to just work around each other, and we're not even like seeing what's happening.
You guys are
And
so
it's just,
fluent. Yeah.
It's like ninja moves, and that was like evidence. It was the first evidence shot because nobody was taking photos of us. And we
It
definitely
was
didn't think
one
take.
of the first BTS
Yeah.
photos of us. Yeah.
I post it again every single year, like, because it pops up on memories. But it was that exact thing where smoke is flying and we're walking backwards, not even paying attention to where we are, but we're like in sync, just like
Yep.
moving, and then we cross.
Yeah.
And then
Pretty sure there's fireworks in the background.
Yeah, and like
There's just
doves.
Yep, flying up.
Yep.
It was just a beautiful moment.
It was.
Such a cool photo.
It
Honestly,
really is.
I remember seeing that and being all like, okay, these guys are legit.
That was the moment
Like-
Augie's like, I want to be on that team.
Pretty much. It was like, I don't have any cool smoke or like.
I want to back up in unison. Yeah, that was a really great night. Was definitely that, and then also us getting to hang out at
Brickyard.
At Brickyard. I
Yeah.
was going to say, well, it's public,
It's
but
public
the Brickyard.
at the
yeah.
Brickyard. We were hanging out outside, so technically the Brickyard.
Brickyard. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when it all just clicked.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't remember if Aaron stayed.
He did for a while.
I don't think
I
he
don't
did.
even remember leaving, and I don't think I drank that much. But I don't remember like how the night came to a wrap for me.
Well, I know. Yeah, it was when we were inside the bar. We were all done like with whatever test for the commercial, and then we went inside, and then my body decided that I was going to shoot my shot without even knowing what I was doing. I don't even know. I can't even explain it. I just got up, went over and said, "Hey, why don't you go outside and hang out with me?" And then
I was like, "Are you talking to me?"
yeah, I remember you kind of like did this like look behind you like, "Are you talking to me?" And I was like, "Yes, you."
That was when I was like, "Does this person know me?
Yeah.
You had the audacity to come and speak to me. You even know who I am."
Yep.
And then we all went outside and then had a blast, and then
It was a perfect night too.
It really
the
was.
weather was so nice.
Yeah, we all had some great conversation, and Keanu was there and stayed
Yes, he
and
was.
hung out and all made us laugh like he always
Yep.
does.
I literally pictured like Keanu Reeves shoving a hamburger in your mouth.
He was part of the commercial.
Yeah,
I just can't get it out of
He
my
does
head.
have like the hair.
He
Like,
has-
It was
yeah,
flowy.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But yeah, and then the reason why I know your exit is because I'll never forget his exit, because it was just such a weird situation, especially like for me as a woman. Like I felt like he was running away from me, because like we had a really good night. Like I always tell him now, like the way I remember that night is like kind of like a movie where like him and I were across the table from each other, and there was people all around this circle table, but nobody else like existed except him and I. And then when it was time to go, I was thinking, okay, like maybe,
We go in the bathroom, hook up.
no.
We go in the alley, hook up.
No. I don't know. I guess I just
Something magical.
It's not like, for him to want to continue talking to me or whatever. And then he basically just like sprinted. He left you behind.
That sounds about right.
He's like walked off in like a heavy walk to the car. And then I remember you being like, where'd Shane go? And I was like, he went that way. And then he like took off after.
But knowing me now, I mean, that's pretty much what I
totally
do.
you. Because when
most
you're
settings.
done, when you are done at somewhere, you leave me. Even here at Taylor's, like when Shane's done, he is already out and in the car.
Bye, I love you. He's
Yeah.
gone.
I've got really bad about that on the phone too.
Yeah.
People have been saying like, they'll call me back, like, you just hung up on me. I was like, but the conversation was over. Yeah, but yeah, like you didn't say bye or anything. It's like, but the conversation was over.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was something we were talking to James about one time. Like James gets really bad at that too. And he's just like, I'm like, what? I'm used to like my family had to say the last goodbye.
Yeah.
Like they were like, all right, bye.
Okay,
love you,
bye.
love you more.
Love you more. Yeah.
You're all calling Verizon. Like my phone calls keep dropping. It turns out it's just me and James hanging up on you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just to you. He knows not to do that to me.
He doesn't anymore. He does like okay, love you, bye.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
And I usually can't even get it in. I'm like,
Yes, Shane and Taylor have that bromance where They have to tell each other they love each other before they get off the phone.
Do you tell Steve you love him too before you hang up?
We have people watching, by the way. We say I love you, don't we? Yeah. We have a deep regard for each other.
Does he tell you he loves you, Augie?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
You have to feel it. You're
Yeah.
just gonna make it up. You don't want to lie to
So
the dude.
he's saying he doesn't love me.
Certain days on a Tuesday.
Some days.
But then what happened after that? So I left in a hurry. It was
You-
more so with the fact I was like, I don't need a woman right now.
Mm-hmm. Even though you were there to meet someone else.
Yeah.
But I still, it's funny because now looking back, like, and when you said like you were there to meet someone else, like you had no hesitation and you walked your butt right outside and sat down and then stayed for the whole time.
Like a
and
good
then,
old boy.
Yeah. And then I think it was because I had you just really, I did not understand you. I think that's what it was. I was just like, I don't understand him. Why is he not coming to me like I want him to, you know? And then I had told Amanda, I think that's when I asked her if you were single or not. And then I think she messaged you and said, you know, I know someone it's interested in you. And then you messaged me on Instagram.
That's right. I slid in the DMs.
Yeah. And he wanted to take me to Oklahoma City for my very first date.
I remember
But
that.
she turned me down.
Yeah. Well, I know this sounds really weird, but I would have been 30 at the 29, 30 at the time. And I remember I happened to be on the phone with my dad and my stepmom and the conversation got brought up and I was like, what do you guys think? And my stepmom was like, hell no, because I am not going to read about the police finding your dead body in Oklahoma City and us having to come and retrieve it. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess that's a no.
Yeah. So it was an interesting first date, but that is Shane. So
Yeah, I like to travel and do all that stuff.
And
so I
there'd be
figured-
no escape, and she's stuck
Yeah,
in the
she's
car
stuck
for
in the car.
2.5 hours.
doors locked.
But ultimately, our first date was at my house, so
It
I could have
was.
just
Yeah.
locked her in my basement.
That's true.
Yeah.
I remember him being like, so you'll never guess who Amanda just told me had a thing for me. And I was like, Ash.
Did you really
I didn't say
know?
Ash. I said Ashton.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I wasn't Ash then to
you
you.
were not Ash.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, who else? Like,
What do you mean, who else? Could have been a plethora of people.
no, there was one that Amanda would tell you about.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Our first date was at his house and he cooked for me. Because it was really cool. We were texting before then, and we found out that both of us were vegetarians, which is kind of rare here in Wichita, which was really awesome because I had become a vegetarian. I was a vegetarian for about a year before we met, and that was kind of hard. Like when I was dating before, like when, of course, you know, the guy's like, "Where do you want to go eat?" You know, and I'm like, well, I'm a vegetarian,
Somewhere with a salad.
Yeah. So that was really cool that we had that in common because it definitely, now us being together almost 3 years, it makes our relationship a lot easier in the fact of, I mean, do we still argue over food like every couple in America? Yes.
Yeah.
But it definitely makes at home eating a lot easier. But yeah, he fixed me an amazing vegetarian meal. I had never had fake meat before. I didn't know it was a thing until I met him. So when I became a vegetarian, I was like vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
I did not replace.
Plant-based.
Yes. And he made me my first meal with the fake meat. And then, I do remember I said I don't like scary movies. And then he took me to It for our very first
It too.
date.
Yeah. Got her close to me, though.
I don't think that's a scary movie.
It's
It's more
weird,
of a
yeah.
comedy.
It's not.
Yeah.
It too wasn't, but It one and the original and then the new It one, terrifying.
But like, I felt like the original It was scary because I was my age that I was at watching it. Like I can watch it
True.
now and I'm like, oh, this is so, like this is
Yeah, like
not
I
scary.
remember watching Scream when I was a kid, like when it first came
Oh
out.
yeah, I was terrified to answer the phone.
Yeah. Like,
Do you-
God forbid that dude's like, hello, Ashton.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's Jason.
Do you guys think that like all these remakes, like they have to put some sort of like comedic effect to it to keep people's attention, just for the age and time we're in now.
I mean, from a videographer's standpoint, movie maker standpoint too, I think that scary movies now have become cheap in the sense that they use audio to scare you. It's not, you know, like Mike Myers and stuff back in the day was just like legitimately scary, the rawness of it and everything. And it's like, oh crap, this could really happen.
Or
but
like The Shining. Like The Shining was legit Jack being insane and psychotic.
Exactly.
And that was terrifying.
Now it's like you have this music and something happens. You're like, oh shit. I don't like that. I won't watch that. Not about that life.
This is a movies discussion, but I think like the best movie, like horror movie I've seen recently that kind of still encapsulates that feeling that is similar to what The Shining would instill in you is Midsommar by Ari Aster, and he's the one who also wrote Hereditary. So if you've seen any of those two movies,
Apple?
The Apple?
Is that on Apple TV?
Oh, I don't have Apple TV, but it might be.
Upgrade your life, bro.
I know Midsommar is on Amazon.
Oh, it's on my Plex. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I was just trying to remember where I seen is it a recent movie?
It's I think like 2019.
2019.
It's so good. Kind of pretty disturbing, but like from like a videographer standpoint, it made me fall in love with the 24 millimeter. So I won't nerd out more than that. But
speaking of 24 millimeter,
yeah, that's the one that's on you.
Well, babe, you are more than welcome to watch that, but without me.
Without you.
Ash don't watch scary movies.
I watch scary movies. Augie watches scary movies.
I love them.
Talking of Apple TV though, have you seen some of the stuff they've been putting out?
Dude, they've been dropping bombs.
It's just the cinematography, videography, photography, everything, color grading.
It's a whole different level.
It is a whole other level. What was the very first show that we watched on there, and we both were like,
It wasn't Ted Lasso, right?
No. Gosh, I cannot remember what the first show. I just remember us watching the first show we ever watched on Apple TV, and I was just blown away.
Yeah, the colors and
just above any other platform. Netflix is getting better.
Yeah.
Like what's the Ryan Reynolds one that just came out?
The Adam Project.
That one was
insane.
The colors in that are like
beautiful.
It's so different. Like you feel like it's a whole different like realm.
It's like cold and warm at the same time. It's like the way
they really take like that teal and orange, but they make it like a little bit more brown and a little bit more blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. That. I mean, it was funny too. That little kid is hilarious.
Hilarious.
He's like a little superhero landing.
Yeah.
Have you seen the videos of him?
Like he memorizes everything.
Well, that was. I mean, I'm guessing kind of what helped him get that part is because he can literally recite Deadpool word by word. And Ryan Reynolds loves to just sit there and watch him do it, and he cusses and says, fuck this and fuck that, and
basically just like shuts him down. Okay,
yeah. It's so funny. I'd love to meet that kid.
Yeah, he's just hilarious. No, that movie was great. But yeah, I think like the thing with Apple TV stuff has been even like their intros to their shows are just like insane. Like I watch it, like usually I try to skip intros, and so like it hits that and I'm like, but this is everyone like the ones that are on there right now, I literally will watch the intro all the way through because I'm like watching how do they do that again. How to do that again. Like on We Crashed, they basically just have this unicorn like that's walking through all these office spaces, and it's just like the way they've done it, I'm just like, that is very like, what brought that to their mind? It starts making sense as you watch it. But it's like different. Like these intros are not just like typical,
No, they're well thought out, and they kind of do a really good job of like, you don't know that the intro explains the whole show kind of. Yeah. But it's a lot of the times it's like hidden in their intro.
That's what I kind of liked about like The Walking Dead back in the day. So like they would slowly change the intro that it almost looks exactly the same, but there's hidden little things that come into play as the show goes on.
Like
So
a
those
Marvel
get-
intro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it gets changed. But what's interesting about these Apple ones is the story is actually, like you just said, has already been told, and it starts making sense as the show goes on. The intro doesn't change, but all of a sudden it makes sense. You're like, that's who that person, or that's
Yes.
this, or that's okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So I feel like they've reapproached how they do that.
Yeah, because we've been watching
Severance.
Severance, yeah.
Whew.
In
What is going on in that show?
I don't
Have
even
you finished
know.
it?
Is it done? I think they
The final episode just came out. I think we were on episode 4 or 5.
Yeah, we
I-
have 4 more to go.
I just watched the one that came out yesterday. Yeah, it came out at midnight last night.
So
I sat right there.
We're
and
way
and
so
watched
we're way behind you, but I
did it explain everything? Sorry, but do you know what's going on now?
Not everything. I don't think it's done.
I could have swore it
It did not feel like a finale.
Okay.
let's hope that's gonna. I don't.
So I just wanted
They better be a finale, or else I'm not finished it because
They
my
need a
mind is
season 2.
blown right now, and I don't even understand what's going
I mean,
on. But I want to.
my mind is still blown.
So we're going to talk about that show, but I want to point something out before we do. Is there's been many a time that I've started a show, and you'll get like, Ashton will be doing something around the house, and she'll walk by and she's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's this show." And she's like, "Oh, okay," and just walks off, right? So same thing that happened with Severance, and she's like, kind of like, come in, come out.
Not as
sit
bitchy as
down.
he's sounding.
Bitchier. And then, so she wasn't really paying attention to any of it, I thought. And then I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and it's one of those shows like you have to concentrate on every little bit. And so she comes over and she starts talking, so of course I pause the show. And all of a sudden she's got all these theories as to what's going on. I'm like, oh, so you are paying attention. And then
You loved my theories.
no, they were great. I
Yeah.
mean, kind of possibly ruined the show for me, but they were great theories.
No,
But
I think
now
my
it's
theories are
good.
right.
Explain the plot a little bit, so then we'll go into
But who the
theories.
hell knows the damn plot?
So basically,
Nobody knows
what
this
it
damn
is. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, so very short and sweet answer. So what it is everyone hates going to work unless you work for Valhalla, and then you love your fucking life.
That's right.
the whole plot.
Everyone hates going to work, so what they do is they do a surgical procedure to where you can sever that part of your brain. So when you go into work, you no longer have any recollection of your outside of work life, and when you leave work, you have no recollection of your at work life. But it's weird because like they leave and they go in an elevator, for instance. They
There will
work.
be spoilers in this, so spoiler alert.
Spoiler
Yeah.
alert, sorry. And then they leave, and then all of a sudden it's like they think they left, but then they're back
Yeah.
at work. It's like you
Yeah.
never leave work, right? And so then like
It's
Ashton
almost like a
had
dream in the sense
Yeah.
of this,
Yeah.
like yeah.
And
fucking nightmare.
They
if it's you
literally
stay at
they
work all the
literally
time.
put a chip in these individuals who I didn't see the I don't think I saw the first or the second episode. I started on the third. So I didn't see like when he actually gets the surgery, but I've seen the trailer
I don't
for
think
it.
they show he.
No.
They don't show he gets it.
He's
It's
already
just-
kind of in it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I do know they put the chip in, and yeah, we have different. That's what I love about that show is like people see it so differently.
Theories are all over the
All
place.
over
Is it
the
literally
place.
like, just from a perspective of not having seen it, is it literally like they go to work, they switch to their work life, and then as soon as they're out of the elevator, they switch to normal life? Or is it
Yeah.
telling the story from just the work life?
No,
No.
it's both.
It's
both.
both.
It's
yeah.
both. So is it like they have different personalities then?
Well, yeah. 'cause-
Same personality, but
Kind of.
you don't. I mean,
'cause
personality
there's, like,
grows from
motion and
like we're older. We're not children, right? Like
Yeah.
our personality is going to continue to grow as we get older. And we're going
Yeah.
to learn. We're going to change. So they don't get that life out in the real world to change. So there are definitely differences in their personalities now. Whereas I'm sure at the initial severance, the separation of minds, it probably wasn't. But another spoiler alert. But like he did it because his wife died, and he wanted at least a part of the day where he could forget about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
I do
interesting.
think that what you're saying is true because you do notice that who he is at like during work hours is now how he is what is supposed to be his home life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like very reserved, like very kind of more so like robotic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird because, another spoiler alert, like this is what I don't get. So the lady that runs that,
Yeah.
obviously she's technically not severed, right?
Right.
So she's his next door neighbor in what you want to call real life, home life, but he has no idea who she is.
Yeah.
But she doesn't think that they're going home.
I don't think, okay, so here's my theory. I don't think that they actually ever wake up when they do the surgery and tell them that they're being severed. I think that they're in a dream state and they are literally controlling their mind to make them believe that they are going to work, going home, and that's it. Like they're basically giving, like in their mind, they're giving them what they said they signed up for. But I think that they're actually doing like human testing studies on them.
Yeah.
And I don't know why or for what yet, but that is my theory.
So I'm reading up on this, and it's talking about protesters. So what are they? If you guys have seen this,
So the protesters, excuse me, I'm dying today, apparently. The protesters are there. They don't believe that you should be severed. They think that it's inhumane to sever the brain, that you should go to work and come home and
That you should live all of that and feel all of it. But see, that like it's the almost kind of, I don't know if you want to say scary, but kind of like eerie part of it is that there's a female in the show that she's a, what you want to call like a newbie. She's just been severed and she does not like it. She's not taking it as well as everybody else has, to the point of like, so the only way to get out of the whole situation is your brain in your home life has to basically raise its hand or speak up and say, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But she is stuck. So her business self and her business brain and her business voice has taken over. So it doesn't want out. So when she's at work, she tries to do everything she can, but see, she like writes things on her arms. But when you're there, they track everything. Like she even goes to the extreme of like sticking a note saying, I want out, in the tip of a Sharpie, what am I trying to say?
cap.
Thank you. Sharpie cap, and tries to basically ingest it. And then he basically tells her like they can read and see everything.
track
Yeah.
it.
So she tries to break out the window and then tries to hand a note to one of the protesters saying, I want out. And they catch her, and then they do some weird shit.
No, she's handing that note to herself.
She's handing that note to herself?
So that hallway, if you go into that hallway, you go to your personal life, not your business. So what
That's
she tried
the
to
hallway.
do was put the note out and then put her head out, so that way when her person wakes up in her personal life self, she'll read the note that says like, get me the fuck out of here. That's what that was, I think, right?
No, there's no way. So that would mean there's two human beings.
Yeah.
No, it's, you really don't get it?
is it?
No.
It's her. Once she breaks that plane, that other half of her mind turns on and the work half of her mind turns off. She put the note out there that she wrote with her work mind, and when she sticks her head out there, now all of a sudden the personal life person comes, like, can see and is in reality, and will be looking at her arm that's holding this note that says, get me out of here, I don't want to be here. She was trying to pass a message to
She was
herself.
trying to get back into the
Because
normal
remember
realm.
when they first tested the ability to go out the door and come back in, and the different thing, she ran through the door and came flying through, and her personal life self, and then she'd walk back in, and all of a sudden she's at work.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, I
That
missed
was that hallway.
That had to have been in episode 1 or 2 because I
And
missed
this
that.
is a life lesson as to why you should watch a show from the beginning.
I would have watched it if you would have waited for me, because this was actually a show that I did say that I wanted to watch, just because it's a Ben Stiller, right?
Ben Stiller, yeah.
Yeah.
He's an amazing director.
Yeah.
Taking all this in, what do you think the Severance like signifies when it comes to real life? Like, how can we as a society relate to this TV show?
Bish, I don't even know.
Like,
seriously
it's
don't
one
even
of those
know.
super deep meaning shows, obviously.
I
So
think-
it could be interpreted in different ways.
There's a lot of ways you can. I think one of the big things is being present. I think is important, right? I think I may have said this on another podcast. I'm not sure, or it may have just been general conversation. But we spend a lot of our time at work, right? Wishing for a vacation, thinking about a vacation, and then we're on a vacation, we're thinking about work.
Yep.
Right, and it's all about, I think that a little hidden gem message in there is just being present. Work doesn't suck as much if you're just there and you're present. You're there for good reason. You're there for 8 hours, some of us 12, 16, but I mean, just
I also kind of think that it kind of gives a very true and honest but kind of a scary reality of how much work kind of can take over someone's life, like to where your home life and whatever you have going on, that kind of, you kind of lose like those good feelings about coming home, because Shane's really good at this, but I'm not, and I think a lot of human beings are not good at this, is just as soon as you leave it at work. You don't take it home. And it's not like I don't take it home and like, argue with him, but like if I'm like frustrated about work in some way, like I want to go home and I just want to like converse with him to like get it off my chest. Yeah. But really it's, if it's really needed, great. But I think people get in the habit of like, if you're in a bad mood at work, they're automatically in a bad mood from the time they pull into the driveway to the time that they open that door throughout the whole night. And then when they lay down at night, it's like, fuck, I have to do this. So they're already pissed. You're pissed 24/7. Yeah. And it's like you have to be able to let that go when you leave the doors of work. And I think this is kind of a very out there way of like showing that, of like how much your work life can affect your personal life, and it can literally just take over. Because that's what happens to him. It affects his mood. It affects the way he walks, the way he talks. I mean, dresses, everything.
When was the show made?
It was like this year.
It's this year. It's brand new.
It's coming out week by week.
It's so interesting that just like the timing that it came out after like post-pandemic when people are now
That's probably
returning.
one of the reasons that it is out is probably thought of.
It's probably the reason the pandemic even happened.
Maybe we just don't know. We're just on the one half of our brain. We actually are still like deep in the pandemic.
But if you think about it, right? Like, let's say that is a thing. Let's say that is reality right now. We don't know it because that part of our brain it shuts off. Maybe we think we're going to work and coming home and we're spending 24 hours, but maybe when we close our eyes and go to sleep, we wake up and go do other.
What if there are 48 hours in a day?
Yeah. What if I'm married? I don't even know. I'm cheating on my wife all the time with Ashton.
It wouldn't be cheating in a different realm, right?
Yeah, I guess.
This is so interesting.
It's I think about so many different random things all the time, like how we don't understand half of what's going on in the world, whether it's like government side, whether it's
we have no idea.
side, whether it's like realms or worlds or universes or
dimensions.
whatever.
I feel like there's always going to be more for us to like learn, but too much for us to actually understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My brain can't comprehend it.
I'm like to the point where I don't want to understand it anymore. It's like I kind of went through this thing for
It comes in phases.
Yeah, it really does.
It's not a phase.
And I feel like Tay
It's
and
a
I are like on the same.
You're not a phase, mom.
I hate my dad.
Don't say it.
Where are you?
Cut my wrist and block my eyes.
Emo for life.
No, but I feel like you and I are definitely on the same wavelength of like when we're like all of a sudden like super interested in like what's going on in the outside world, and then we really get into it. We're like, shit, we definitely shouldn't have done that because now it's like seriously affecting my mental health. So maybe I should back off a little bit.
Yeah.
I just think you're more aware. That's the issue. Because you sit there and you're like, oh, the world is just fucking burning and it sucks and people are evil. And it's like 2001 happened and 2008 happened and there was a lot of shitty things that were going on, but you're just more aware of it now.
Well, I mean
Russia isn't necessarily affecting you in any way. COVID sucks. I mean,
I think it's
of that
because
shit.
honestly, I've thought about that a lot. I'm like, why now? Like, why do I mean, I'm a Pisces, so I've always just been an empath. So no matter what something horrible could be going on in, states away from me, and I watch a video and like I feel how that person is feeling in that moment.
And that's because you're a Pisces?
Yeah, I'm an empath.
I'm a Leo.
That's why we get along so well.
Yeah, but you're a Leo and you care, and I don't have an
I'm only
empathetic bone in my body.
I only
I'm
know
a Leo.
That is true. You and I are so different in some
Yeah,
in some
You
ways.
seriously
We're like
are.
2 days apart.
Lean forward. There you go.
I don't want to lean forward.
Stay there.
Yeah, you really are.
I love you, Augie.
Yeah, it's interesting because I only know I'm a Leo because people around me are like, "Oh, you're a Leo."
I don't get the zodiac thing.
Makes sense. It makes sense. You're such a Leo, and I'm like,
No, I'm a
I'm
Taylor.
I would totally understand it if there wasn't like deeper meanings and like deeper connections between different signs. Honestly, like I think I would understand it if it was like almost just like a personal like a personality trait thing. It's so hard to talk and switch video at the same time. I'm sorry.
You better learn. This is your job now.
I know. I'm like trying to like remember, and if I see you like coughing, so I'm like, I can't use my angle anymore. So I'm like using my peripherals to like watch Taylor's camera to make sure it works.
You're killing it, bro.
first time through. Also, I can fix it in post.
Yeah. Just enjoy. Here, I'll do a little bit.
in pre.
There was
little
this
bit of fun
app
for you.
that maybe
There
one
you
of
go.
you probably know it more. There was an app that you go on and like you put, all the way down to like the hour that you were born, and it tells you like your sign, but it also tells you like how you pair with people, the negative things in your life. And I will admit that fucking thing was accurate. Like,
Really?
yeah, it was. I downloaded it when I was moving from Japan. Someone recommended it, and I was like going through my divorce and stuff, and it was like, it would literally be like, you're going through a hard time in your life, you've lost a significant other, but you're going to be better off without them. And like, it was just like spot on. And it's kind of like the ads that pop up on Facebook.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how do you know that I'm looking for that?
Isn't
right
it
now?
so weird? Like, how do you program or like create something like that to where it can like tell by the exact minute or time?
There was straight up. I remember a conversation I had with Stephen Powell, and we were actually, it's when I had the new AM and stuff going. We're all sitting there in the living room, and we're like talking about, because that was like a new thing that was like happening. Like people are like, "Oh yeah, if you talk about this, it's gonna show up on your phone or whatever." I'm like, I was like, "That's bullshit." Like that is not true. So we're like literally sitting there, and Stephen says, because I was just talking about like I had some new black skinnies, exactly this. He's like, "Dude, I need to buy some new black skinnies. Like all of mine are like ripping out at the knees or they're just faded." No lie, within 10 minutes he's scrolling Facebook and he goes, "You gotta be kidding me." Holds his phone out and there's like black skinnies from a website.
So they say
Yeah.
that that's not real.
It's so real.
it's real.
So that what they say is, and there's a reason I don't believe it. I'll get to it, but they say that it's like audience, right? So I hang out with you, and I hang out with Taylor, and I hang out with Augie, and they say that because I hang out with them, you're looking at skinny jeans, right? What it does is, because for one, I hang out with you and we're friends on Facebook, but also our locations on our phones are next to each other, that it will then make a like audience and it will give that ad to me. but I don't ever get skinny jeans emo freaking ads on mine.
No.
I don't ever get like Victoria's Secret or whatever. Like it's always something I've talked about. I'm just saying,
I don't shop at Victoria's Secret, so
Okay.
maybe that's why.
I don't get dildos R Us on my ads. So.
No, I agree though. It's like in the past when I've set up Facebook ads, like you have audiences and you can create audiences based off of people who've visited your website and their friends. Like I can send an ad to friends of people who've been married in the last 3 months. And so maybe that has something to do with it.
Well, they say that the new Apple piece, where Apple's now restricted people, companies, like going through your crap, basically. They say it's actually creating a worse ad experience because now you're just going to get shot random ads that don't pertain to you whatsoever. At least before, I'd get a bunch of skinny jeans ads that, I actually want to buy some and be like Taylor. But now you just get like the most random. I get ones for sunflower necklaces that open up. And what am I going to do with that?
That is the thing too. Is it's
Steve
like
said he does too.
You too? Yeah. It's like good try, buddy.
it's interesting because as creepy as it was in the beginning, I bank on that now.
Yeah, I want it.
If I'm like, oh dang, I was looking for like a wide brim fedora or something like that. I was like,
To me,
it'll
that
pop up eventually.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, go through Instagram stories, like there it is.
Do you ever, whenever you want something, you sit there and you're like, wide brim fedora, wide brim fedora, wide brim fedora, wide brim fedora,
about
like
to say,
50
like,
times.
would you just be like-
I did that one time for real.
Did it
'Cause
work?
Yeah,
Oh.
it really did.
You're like, big black doodle, big black doodle, big black doodle.
BBD, BBD, BBD.
Why does it have to be black though?
I'm just diversity and inclusion, Augie. Okay.
Because it's BB.
You haven't said white once.
BWD. That just doesn't sound the same.
No, I definitely think it's great. Like, I guess I just downloaded like the actual Nike app on my phone, and it asked me if I wanted it to like track my activity so it could, optimize ads for me. Normally I'd be like, no, because I, for some reason, think that that's going to send less ads my way, but it's like, it's not. It's just going to send random different ads. So if I'm interested in shoes, I might as well like have Nike show me what they got if I'm interested in them. So
Algorithms and stuff are just crazy.
Interesting.
You can never keep up
Our
with the
entire
algorithm.
life is an algorithm.
Yeah.
It's like everything around us is an algorithm. It's not just like Instagram and Facebook.
Can
I
we
always
not
say
go
my
there?
life's a
Because you're
movie.
just gonna. Can we just not?
Let's
Going back to Severance.
Dude,
What if we talk about this Elon Musk thing that's going on here? I have something pulled up here, and so obviously he wants to buy Twitter, and he says that he believes the company has the potential to be the platform for free speech around the globe.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that.
So
That's
I
interesting.
have never in my life had a Twitter, so I'm probably
Never.
not the one to
I only had
talk.
a Twitter for a year.
talk to this
so
about.
that's
Why did you have a Twitter?
Because it's like everybody had a Twitter.
So
I
it's
just,
not.
like-
It's not. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No.
But it's not like people who've had Twitter. It's just the fact that he says it's going to be a platform for free speech.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So-
they banned Trump from it, like
for sure.
our president at the time. Or I
Please
think
tell
it was-
me
They banned him?
why just Twitter? Like, I feel like isn't that what everyone, especially now, practices on every platform?
Well,
Not
Twitter-
so much
but-
like
Twitter is known for, and I'm not political by any means, but Twitter is known to kind of have like a political position that, like, they banned Trump, and then they've got people that are on there, like promoting racist rallies and stuff, and they're not banning them, and they've got like terrorist groups on there, and they're not banning them, and so it seems as though, and again, I'm not the most educated in it, but like they kind of have like an agenda. They'll ban certain people that go against that agenda, and so I think that what Elon is basically saying is that it will allow for that platform to actually have freedom of speech, where it's known to be one of the social medias that just bans tons and tons of people.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they did to piss him off, but I mean, he's bought like 9% of the company,
Yeah.
which I think he's like one of the highest shareholders now with 9%.
Yeah.
So he can go to board meetings which would be just cool to watch that dude just roll up into a board meeting.
But weren't they? I don't remember the terms. Weren't they trying to get him to a specific level as a member, like as an actual board member? And
I'm not sure.
And he was saying no to that because
I think he wants to buy the whole thing. So I mean,
Steve's
you'd be like,
shaking his head. Yeah.
okay.
I don't know any much more than that. I just heard a little bit, and I was like, he said no because there were some restrictions that came along with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude. Let's just. I mean, not to skip over it. I think that it'd be cool if he bought it, but that dude's just a genius. He's got what is it called? The internet that he's created.
Oh.
You wanted to get it for the studio. Skylink.
Starlink.
Yeah. I tried to sign up for that.
Is that what they're putting in my backyard right now? They've been digging all day.
I mean,
I think it comes from the stars,
Yeah,
Taylor, not from your grass. So.
No, but I mean, it is cool. I guess like if we're going like current events, like he sent a bunch of Starlink satellites to, was it Russia or Ukraine?
Ukraine.
I'm gonna assume. I hope not.
He's
Russia.
not helping
Well,
Russia.
I just don't know if like he was trying to provide internet like as a source for them to get the truth of what's actually going on.
Yeah, that's a good
like
point.
but it's cool that he's able to do that, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah, all this. I know he's helping a lot with like all the Space Force stuff that started.
Yeah.
It started as a Netflix show, and now it's reality. We have a Space Force.
It's so hard because like I'm interested in him, and I know he's got so many things in his head and so many things in the works that we have no clue about. But I can't listen to him talk. Like
I'm kind of the same.
There's like TikTok motivational Elon Musk things, and I'm like,
he's a little analytical when he talks.
I can't do it.
Joe Rogan got him high as fuck.
Really?
Did he really?
Yeah,
Dude.
it tanked Tesla stock for a little bit. People were not.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he started it, and that's the thing with like Tesla stocks or anything of his. Anything he says just seems to, and so he'll get in trouble for like stock manipulation. He's like, dude, I just smoked a blunt on Joe Rogan's show. Like, how is that stock manipulation?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a super smart dude, and I'm the same. I listen because a lot of what he has to say, even pertaining to leadership and business and stuff, is interesting. But it is a little dry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of, it's in the same sense like Zuckerberg. Like,
I can't listen to that
him.
idiot.
I'm like, I can't. But I also feel like Elon has got to have something in the works, like the metaverse, like an Alterverse or whatever you want to call it.
A Teslaverse.
Like that's when I heard he was Teslaverse. When I heard that he was trying to get Twitter, I was like, the dude is gonna buy Twitter, and he's gonna create whatever the successful version of the metaverse.
Yeah.
Because we talked about that with Noah. Like Noah's like, the metaverse is gonna tank. It's just not gonna go. But somebody else is gonna.
Metaverse 1.0 isn't gonna do well. And he was saying too, because they just try to monetize everything too soon. But
yeah, I think that's, I don't know. I think Elon's got a ton of things. I also think that dude, he's got like probably clearance everywhere in the world.
Yeah, the dude thought to himself, well, LA traffic is terrible, so let's go underground and let's dig massive tunnels and we'll solve the problem. Like all these things, solar, I think he said he has done the calculations to where he's like, yes, we can run America on solar. He's like, give me 3,000 or 300,000 acres somewhere or whatever, put it all with solar, and you never have to worry about electricity ever again.
I've seen that movie. Doesn't turn out well.
The solar panels take over.
I have a question because I don't really know anything about it. So I was on TikTok earlier, and I actually saw the video because I read an article about it. So I looked up the video of the 3 or 5 scientists that are basically coming forward and saying like, nobody's listening to us. Like, they're lying to you. We do this every day. And they're talking about like, we are going to run out of water in 3 years.
Your TikTok is so different than ours.
Yeah, mine's just got a bunch of chicks twerking on it.
So it pops up what you watch. Shane, Anthony.
What you talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Well, maybe we'll have to do some research and then talk about it on the next time because it looks really it sounds very important and very interesting. I mean, and I'll have to show you guys maybe the video after of what I'm talking about. But like this scientist came forward, like they called their own press meeting, everything, and they were like, we are serious. No one's listening to us. We are serious.
But there could be a good reason. Maybe they're fucking crazy.
Maybe there's a reason these are called liquid death. Like,
no, they're talking about like the like global warming. Like us as human beings, we have just completely destroyed this planet. I mean, let's be real, we really have. And because of the way that we live and the way that we just grow and we grow and we grow, and now we're overpopulated. And I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff that has to go into it that they've basically been warning. I mean, how long have they been warning us about global warming? I mean,
since the dinosaurs.
I was gonna say long enough that everybody's just like,
yeah,
global warming, whatever.
But yeah.
But they're saying like all those warnings that they've been giving us, like they're like no one's listening to us, and we're like down to 3 years. We got 3 years.
So water runs out.
Yeah, and like I mean, they're
start storing this liquid death.
Isn't there water like in the earth?
I mean, there's water.
There are oceans
in the earth. Yes, Taylor, there is. That's how plants grow.
Don't you filter that out? Filter out salt water? Can you do that? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can do it literally with a Tupperware. You can evaporation. You can take seawater, put it at an angle with a little piece of whatever it's called, like the stuff you put on food, and then the water will evaporate with the heat, and it will trickle down into a separate section, and now you have purified water.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So I'm
Science,
like,
people. You're welcome.
I think we've got more
You're
water.
You're going to use that in 3 years.
I was going to say,
Mark my words.
I think we've got plenty of water. I feel like
so save your Tupperware.
And then 5 scientists will come forward and be like, there's a Tupperware crisis.
That's the problem, is like, that's what they're trying to say, really. It's like our Tupperware is breaking and slowly getting brittle. And
so invest in Tupperware now.
Remember when plastic
Tupperware salesman?
Remember when plastic Tupperware was like okay and like no big deal, and now everyone's like, you got to use glass, which, okay, I'm definitely one of them, but I mean, I would much prefer to use glass. Keeps my vegetables and my fruit fresh, and I believe what they're saying, but it's just weird that like we went so long with, like, I still have my great grandmother's, like, do you know I'm sure you do, because I'm sure Becky's dad had them, like they were like the bright orange and the bright yellow, but the containers that you have to push down in the center to close it.
Yep.
Love those.
Yeah.
I love those.
They don't make them like that anymore.
No, they don't.
Oh, now you put a friggin' lid on a Tupperware, and you go put it in the fridge, and all you hear you go look, and it's popped off.
Yeah.
It's like, thanks.
I'll never forget like the day, like I was a really young girl, and my granny had them, and I remember I was like sitting there trying to put the lid on, and I was like, this lid is not going on. She just came over and was like, boop, right in the center. I was like, what the yeah. So easy.
Things change.
Definitely.
Things change.
Definitely.
I had a question and I forgot it, and I've been just trying to remember it, and then we started talking about Tupperware with.
You want to talk about Ashton stories? We can talk about that. We could go on that story of why Ashton doesn't drink anymore.
Oh.
I don't know if Steve's heard that one. Augie, have you heard it?
No.
She loves
Steve, you heard it
too.
Emily, you heard it?
Was Steve there?
So, were you at the Christmas party the year before COVID hit? No. Okay. So, Christmas party the year before COVID hit. It was the first ever Air Force event that Ashton attended with me.
We'd been dating 2 months. Not even that.
Yeah, it was October 25th is our anniversary.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I did it. Like, anniversary.
Anniversary.
So, yeah, it's a couple months. And we go to the Christmas party. We show up. There's not a whole lot that we can eat. I already don't drink at the time. Still don't. But, so we go to the Christmas party. Air Force event. First ever one for Ashton. Shows up. My buddy Dave's there. Jess and Ash become friends instantly, and they're drinking wine, blah, blah, blah. So towards the end of the night, Dave and I, it was at a casino, so Dave and I are like, okay, we're going to go gamble. We go gamble, we come back, and girls are on the dance floor just out there just getting it, and it's time to leave.
Was it that exact move?
Yeah, she does the...
No, I don't.
So it's time to leave. Ash is just a little stumbly, and she's like, I'm drunk. So we get in the vehicle, and we head down I-35, and she's like, I don't feel good. We need to pull over. It's like, okay. So we pull over, throws up on the side of the road, get back in, go maybe a mile. I don't feel good. I need to pull over again. This time, like, she gets out, and then I don't hear from her for a couple minutes.
Now, mind you, I'm in heels, a gown, because this is it's a dress up thing. So I'm in like a full gown, heels, hair, jewelry,
not
everything.
Not good.
And so then, don't hear from her for a couple minutes other than the few like, ugh. And so go out there, and she's like passed out on the grass on the side of the road. Okay. So can't really get her to wake up properly. She's been throwing up. Yeah. Kicking her like, get up, woman. So for those that don't know, I-35, it's a pretty busy toll road.
Yeah.
Cars are just flying by. And my option is I can pick her up and put passed out Ash in my front seat, and she continues to throw up as we work our way home. Or I have a Toyota 4Runner, so I open the back
and smack her head on the way. Like,
legitimately pick up this lifeless body as cars are just flying by, and dump this lifeless body in the back of this trunk and close it as cars are whizzing by.
Not sketchy at all.
Not a single person stopped to be like, why are you dumping this
cop
body?
cars driving by and everything.
Dude. Yeah. So then get home, drop her off in the bathroom. I was DDing for Dave and Jess. Had to take them home, came back, and it looked like Barney had just exploded in my bathroom. All that purple wine just like all over the place. Ugh. Yeah, and Ash woke up the next day and was like, I'm never drinking again. I'm like, everyone always says that, and give you credit where credit's due. She has not drank ever since. Yep. And there was another time too where she passed out. She was sick, and I was asleep.
Not from alcohol.
No.
Yeah.
And I was asleep, and I like roughly remember her kind of like getting up, and then I remember her kind of like going up the stairs, and I was like in and out of sleep, and then all of a sudden you just hear this doom, this thud, and I was like, oh, maybe she
dropped down up there.
Yeah, I was like,
trying to sleep.
Yeah. I was like, maybe she dropped something while she was making me a sandwich. I don't know. But come to find out that she got to the top of the stairs sick and just passed out. Boom, right on the floor. Yeah. So those are the two times that Ashton is passed out.
So she handles alcohol pretty well.
But the second time was not alcohol. But I will say the first story that he said with the alcohol, the last thing, I have never actually, no, I take that back. I think I've blacked out
12 times.
Maybe 5 times. This was different. And I think it was because, number one, we did not eat. They did not have anything for vegetarian-wise for us to eat. So literally, Shane and I had the desserts. So I think I had like one dessert that was maybe like this big. Yeah. And then I just started down in red wine. But the last thing I remember was I was on the dance floor with Jess, and her and I were obviously not giving two shits because, don't get mad because I don't even know if you know this. I was like dancing, and then just woo, wine goes flying all over the dance floor.
My commander's there, like, what's this?
Yeah, we keep dancing, and then Jess spills hers. And then
told you it was the move.
And then
told you. She said no, but she was what she was doing.
But I honestly, I do not remember walking out of that building. Damn. I don't remember. I do not remember walking out of that building.
Well,
I do remember
walking is kind of a strong term.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
You
sure.
waddled out
Yeah.
of there.
Maybe you switched to the other half of your brain.
Oh, severance, full circle. Love it. Love it. Full circle. Yep.
What is considered blacking out? Because I don't
Remember
want...
the podcast we did the last
The last time we did it with
and
Ash?
you don't remember a lot of it?
That's
is
blacking out.
Blacking out.
No, that's not true.
No, I think it's just like, I know what you mean, because I've always kind of wondered that. It's like, why do you call it blackout? But I think it's because you black out your memory of it. Like, because I know that happened, because if I can like close my eyes and kind of remember that night, like I remember, the only piece that I do remember is there was a time where Shane and I were walking out to the car, and the only thing I think I remember is because that's when I realized, oh, fuck, I am going to vomit. Nope, it's good. Just hold it. You're going to be okay. You're going to be
Hold it
okay.
in.
Yep. And then but I don't remember. I don't even remember getting to the car.
Or waking up in the trunk of a 4Runner.
Yeah, no. Not that I don't. I didn't even know that he did that until days later.
Until 10 minutes ago.
Had no idea that he had actually shoved me in the trunk.
She's like, you did what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But, you know, I will, for people that know Shane, right? He can be a sarcastic asshole sometimes. And
Never.
so when I told him, I was like, I did the whole what everyone does, you know, I'm never going to drink again. And he was like, yeah, right. Like, let's be real here. Let's be logical. You're not. And I was in my mind, I was like, I'm going to show him. And it's almost been 3 years, and I have not had a drop of alcohol since.
I was going to say, for those of you who don't know Ashton, she likes to prove a point.
I'm not supposed to tell people that.
I'm trying to find this video.
I
of
really
my
do,
friend who
though.
blacked out.
I know.
Yep.
We've
But
got,
that's another thing you and I are a lot alike
I
on.
know. Because
Like, we will prove our point.
I'll never forget our Friendsgiving that we had. I was like, Aaron and I were going back and forth about that whole Astro World thing. And I was like, no, Aaron, no, you are wrong.
Yep.
And Taylor's back there like, Ashton's right. But in like a nice way.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to play both sides for a little bit, but I'm very like opinionated in my side, but I really do like to hear out other people's side because they obviously have developed that opinion for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always like,
I like that as well, but if I'm really strong on something, it's almost like I act like I want to hear your opinion, but I really don't. I just want to argue you until you believe my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is a horrible thing, but it is what it is. Because normally I'm right. Right? Right, honey?
No.
That's not what he says at home. You're right. You're right, baby. You're right.
You're right.
You're right.
You're right. You're right. He's learned the words of life.
Yeah.
You're right, baby.
Yeah. Now, the second time, I will say, now it's hilarious because, yes, I did just pass out. So our bedroom's in the basement. So I army crawled up the stairs because it hit me in the absolute middle of the night. I woke out of my sleep. I had to have had a fever because I'm just going to say this because it makes it even more funnier. I had already stripped my shirt off because I was burning up. So I get up to the top of the stairs. This makes it even worse. I passed out, face flat on the floor. Have no idea how long I laid there. He's just asleep. Didn't check on me, nothing. Woke up and I had vomited. Turns out I had the flu and made it to the bathroom, fell asleep again in the bathroom, woke up, and this is so disgusting, but I had vomited on my hair.
Oh my goodness.
But it was to the point of how sick I was that he got up to go to work the next day. I was on the couch, wrapped in a blanket. I didn't even have the energy to go back downstairs or to take a shower. I just reeked of vomit. He got up and Shane's like a super, super happy person in the morning. Ash, not so much.
Yeah.
I'm not a morning person. He loves the morning. And so he's got his uniform on. He comes around the corner in our kitchen, flips on the light. You know, he's usually singing or whistling, and I'm just sitting there like, and he turns the corner. He's like, "What the fuck happened to you?" I'm like, "Well, you would have known if he would have checked on me."
I'm like, had a bit of a rager last night. You got some vomit on your hair.
Yeah, that was. But we always say, like, you and I have really, we went through all like the most embarrassing shit for you and I from like the get-go.
What did I do? Like you went through embarrassing stuff. You got some stories, please? They're entertaining. What do you got? Text me first so I can tell you whether or not we can say it.
No, I'll save them for another time.
Okay.
Keeps it fun. Keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
Do my best.
Yeah, but yeah, you didn't give 2 fucks. Didn't give 2 fucks. Just, I could have laid there and died. And now I know that you actually heard the thud. What does not make it any better.
I've saved that for 2 years just for this podcast. I was
gonna be
awake the whole fucking time.
That's a TikTok.
I was like, swear to me.
So as a change of topic, have you checked out like MGK's new stuff, like his new album?
Yes.
What do you think?
I'm just so happy for him. I'm so proud of him. I've always been an MGK fan from the get-go. Mm-hmm. I listened to his stuff when what he calls was when he was like trying to make it and it just wasn't sticking. It wasn't like getting him where he needed to go. I enjoyed his stuff back then. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And it's like he's really good at staying true to himself. Mm-hmm. And he's still like, as he grows and as he evolves, it's still his signature style. Yeah. But it's just like better and better.
Yeah.
And I got pissed the other day because I feel like a lot of people have kind of been talking shit on him.
Yeah.
And I'm not okay with it. And I will take
Protective
a bitch
Ash.
down for talking shit on MGK because I truly think that he is just himself. Like, he is very out and open about his mental health. He's very out and open about how he has, like, technically it's like social anxiety, kind of. Like, you know, I love watching him I watched him on the Drew Barrymore show. I watched him on the Kelly Clarkson show. I watched him on Ellen. Like, and when he talks, right, I don't know if you notice, he pauses a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And he but he thinks. You can see him constantly thinking to make sure, like, he says how he wants to say it. Mm-hmm. And I love that about him. And everything that he talks about, he's so true about. Yeah. I love that he's very open about his struggles, you know, and like when he came out on the Drew Barrymore show, he was there to kind of promote his new nail polish because during the interview, which I thought was really beautiful because I think she could kind of tell that something was off about him when he first came out, and he was out in the open. Like he apologized to the audience and said, you know, I'm just having an off day. I'm having kind of a weird day today, so I apologize if I'm not, you know, overly exciting. That's not common.
Usually you like get it together. You know?
If he's having a bad day, like he comes out and he says it, and like, you know, he may not be like super lively, but the interview isn't any worse. Right. You know, because he's always honest and true. Yeah. But, you know, he was sitting there talking about, as he was painting Drew Barrymore's nails during the show, like, I just love how he talks about, you know, when he was younger and he got a lot of shit and people were against him, and he's just like everybody else who wants to make it in that business. Yeah. You know? And it's like, now that he has this shot and now that he's doing great, it's like people want to tear him down. Like, bitch, you're just jealous. Like, oh yeah, that's all it is.
KY jelly.
Well, it's interesting because like there are a ton of people hating on him, and but it's funny, like
what are they hating on him about? I don't know any of this stuff.
So the whole point is, like, the thing was for a while that MGK failed in hip hop because the whole like rap battle that they had with.
Oh yeah,
Eminem.
I mean Eminem is one of the reasons he is where he is today.
I mean, he did give him a platform.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
he
sure.
did.
Yeah, he did.
But MGK, he grew up in this genre too. Like he grew up at like in this exactly what he's doing right now. So people are like, oh well, he had to switch genres and all this stuff because he failed. That's not even it. And he will even say like, he'll call out like, basically he was still creating music. He still wants like he's still releasing rap stuff. He just put out a 3-song EP that he like recorded during COVID.
It's like saying Justin Timberlake failed, so he went to acting.
Yeah,
I mean he does well in both.
And the interesting
He's not gonna
thing,
win an Oscar, but.
the interesting thing is like, because they do just like say he's just a parody of other like Blink-182 or well yeah, you have Travis Barker as your drummer lots of times, so like, you have the drummer of Blink-182, so you're gonna have some similarities, even in the way they wrote. Travis wrote a lot of their stuff. So
but who I'm sorry, but whoever listens to that genre of music, why wouldn't you want that?
Right.
Who the hell doesn't want some sort of version of Blink-182?
Yeah, exactly.
Now.
And it's but it's like they're hating on him, but that is like the genre that's starting to blow up again, which you and I are like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
But it's like they're not hating on these other guys that are like making it big again. These hip hop stars that have transferred over to this punk rock side of things, this punk pop punk. But like MGK, no matter what, they keep hating on him.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because like, the things that he does, when other people do it, like nobody says anything.
No.
But it's because like he was already in that spotlight, and people already tried to, like I've had plenty of conversations with people like, oh yeah, MGK lost the battle to Eminem, so that's why he switched. I actually was one of those people for a while that I was just like, yeah, that's why he switched genres.
That happened so many years ago.
Yeah, and I'm just like, he did say like Travis hit him up. They were like, or however that went down, that they were gonna go create music together, and he's like, I mean, he literally is like, I mean, nobody was waiting for an MGK album. Like nobody was waiting for that. No labels were like, "Yo, we need another one."
Yeah.
He's like, "So fuck it, why not? Like, let's do this. Like, this is what I grew up on, anyways." It's like I'm still rap. I'm still punk. I'm still alternative. Like, I am that, and that's what the people around him actually say about him too. Like the people that have grown up around him, and. Something actually one time by the pool, you were talking about liking MGK, and I kind of was like, he's kind of a douche, like because he was really cocky on something, and I get turned off by people that are just like cocky. Like there's confidence, and then there's just like cockiness, and I think he was like drunk in this interview too, or like, and I'm just like, that was my. I
just think I know he can be like that, but fuck, he's earned it.
Yeah.
You know, but for the most part, like who he generally is, like you know. I mean, I could go on about, like, I love him and Megan Fox. Like,
that's
she's
the thing.
totally...
He could not sell a single song, but he goes home and he sleeps with Megan Fox. So it's a win in my book.
Yeah. I'm just super happy for him. I know I talk like I know him, but...
I'm super proud. I'm God.
I love that I can see all the camera angles happening.
What is wrong with you?
What happened?
Did you just like mouth
deep-throated the fucking microphone.
I was doing a Megan Fox impression.
I've taught you well.
Hey, yes you have.
Sorry, Jake.
No, it's I've grown like super proud of him as well, and I will like one of my buddies, Gabe. Like Gabe is very. Like Gabe likes MGK, but the last album he's like, it's not that great. And then there's the him and Corey Taylor thing, and like that was just like it's all petty things. And so like Corey Taylor's in which band? He's in Slipknot.
Yeah.
So there's like the little thing where they were playing a festival together, and Corey Taylor was They interviewed him. All I heard was this section of the interview, and they basically asked him what he thought of like the new rock, and he's like, I hate all new rock. He's like. Especially like those who fail in one genre and have to like resort to another one. You know who I'm talking about. So like he started it.
I am no longer a fan of Slipknot. You can go fuck yourself.
So straight up.
Weren't they just here in Wichita?
Huh? Yeah, they were.
Oh God.
So then straight up, yeah, because Gabe went and saw them. So this is when he's like snapping.
Yeah, if that tells you anything, I mean, as much as I do love Wichita, but if Slipknot, you're coming to Wichita, Kansas, and MGK doesn't come
Little
here,
MJK.
Your career is over.
then you are old and you need to retire.
We were out like vintage clothes shopping that day, and there was just like 75-year-old dudes with Slipknot shirts
God.
on, just like
Yeah. But they all have like these dad bods and these beer bellies,
Hey,
and
there's
like,
nothing wrong with a dad bod.
and we could
You don't
totally
got a
like
dad
we
bod,
walked
bro.
around the corner, and it's like all these dads, and I was like, I smell weed,
Yeah.
and they were just
Do you
Awesome.
have any to spare?
they were just token it up, walking to Interest Bank Arena.
Well, what was funny is, so Corey made that. He stirred something out of nothing, all right? So what MGK did have to learn, and is still having to learn, is when you come out of like the hip hop world, that is just like beef upon beef. Like every rapper has beef with each other.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You call each other out. In the rock world, that's not really a thing. Like that's not the culture.
No, it's not.
You're family.
Yes.
So he kind of brought it to rock for a little bit, and he'll admit that. Like, but he was not calling us out. Corey Taylor decided to do this, and then so at that festival, MGK is up on stage, and everybody's just cheering, going crazy, and he's like, "Man, there's no place in the world I'd rather be right now. Nothing I'd rather be," and everybody's cheering. He's like, "You know what I wouldn't want to be though," and he's like, "A 55-year-old man still wearing a mask."
Yes. See, that's why I love him.
And people
That
like
is
cheered.
why I love him.
He did get booed off stage at one of his following shows because it's kind of like Gabe was like, that crew that follows like the Slipknot world, like you don't fuck with Corey Taylor. I'm just like, well, he did, and Corey Taylor started it, and he was
I
the
was
one
gonna
being
say,
childish.
yeah.
So I'm
That's what I don't like is that that he gets the bad wrath when most of it is just him responding.
yeah.
Like,
And he has no filter to respond. He's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna say what I want to say.
he just tells the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, is that not the truth? That's
No.
a 55-year-old dude still wearing a fucking mask?
Exactly.
Because that's the truth.
Well, but technically speaking, there's a lot of 55-year-old dudes wearing masks. COVID.
In this day and age. Did you see the Apple update where it'll read your face with a mask on now?
What?
No.
Yeah, you have to go and do it. You have to like wear a mask and then.
Of
yeah.
course, after like mask mandates are pretty much
Yeah.
ended
Yeah.
everywhere
It
outside
popped
the
up
medical industry.
yesterday on my phone, and I
So
hit
what? It
skip.
just reads your eyes?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I had some chick on
That's
on
scary.
a plane the other day come back from Arizona. I didn't have my mask on properly, and she decided to tell me and then also inform me that she could get me kicked off the plane for it.
In the air.
It's like, bet, let's go.
I
Let's
even
go.
brought my own parachute for you.
Taking you with me. Yeah.
You gotta wear your mask on the parachute too.
Your mask is the parachute.
That was something that when you mentioned this in the car, when all the Russia stuff started talking about or happening and everything, Augie goes, "Isn't it kind of funny that COVID just disappeared?"
I say that all the time.
It's like,
It's
All of a
just
sudden,
gone.
Russia's kind of disappeared too.
yeah,
You don't-
that
I
is
mean-
true.
I don't. Yeah, you don't.
It was like on the news for a while. Oh my God, like Ukraine and then
It just goes to show
People
how
stop caring.
controlled like by the media we all are, you
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
because it's like there are still so many awful things happening in Ukraine today, you know, that I still hear about, but I hear about it from TikTok. I don't hear about it from like popular news
Yeah, but
sites
there's a
or
reason.
channels.
I was
for
gonna
that,
say
though.
Shane's about to take us
Yeah.
there.
Oh God.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
buddy. Who owns TikTok? What country?
Ukraine.
Bro, they
No.
they barely even own cars there, let alone TikTok, dude. Dude, I went to Ukraine airport once for Aerovac stuff, and oh my God, it was just like these brand new jets were just like destroyed. It was it's pretty poverty ridden. But yeah, like TikTok, they put that stuff out there. On purpose for you to see. I mean, if you look at like Chinese kids, they're only allowed to do like 5-10 minutes of TikTok at a time. It's all educational. Like
Their TikTok is different than our TikTok.
yeah, completely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's put out there to start those feuds, for sure.
Yeah.
And TikTok, and Ash falls for it every time.
I do.
Even outside that side of things, like TikTok is. I was talking to James about this with like some music stuff we're working on, and just the fact of, like, we started a band in 2017, the New AM, and like we didn't have TikTok. We had just put music out on YouTube or whatever. And so we were talking because we're working on something now, and we're with Augie and James and I, and we were like, we didn't have TikTok back then. Like, we could follow this whole realm of, you follow like the Nick D's and those dudes that are just like putting out like a chorus. They just put it out and you do it again and you sing it somewhere else and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and it's stuck in people's head.
Yeah.
Those guys annoy me so much. Oh my gosh.
You're the one recording mine, so what? So it's just interesting, like people, Caitlyn with Russ, is that his name? Russ?
Yeah.
I know I'm fine, but the
money
money makes me handsomer. Yeah. So they literally, she just did an open verse challenge like I did with the Swaco one. Everybody voted her to be the official remix. So then even I personally heard the remix and I was like, I wish she sang more I wish she did more on the song, because I was like over his parts.
Yeah.
And then next thing I see on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff that it's like, well, you guys wanted it, but we're doing an extended remix. So all of a sudden they go do, and she writes another verse, and then they do like this collaborative little verse, and I'm just like, it's genius. Now the song is way better. But it's interesting how like all of a sudden you can just like do a open verse challenge. Like, I mean, literally, Swaco could have saw the video that I did, and then life would have been different. But like Caitlyn, I'm not crying, and I'm not upset.
I'm not crying.
Life would have been different.
I'm just saying, like, she did an open verse challenge. The next day, her like life was different.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, Russ like liked it, and then followed her, and then next thing you know, people are blowing her up about it, and she ends up get put on this remix, and she meets Russ, and like now she's like,
Has she done anything else since?
No. I mean, I don't know. This all just is pretty
So her
new.
life was different for a little bit, and then.
I mean, I went and subscribed to all of her stuff, so.
So this must have been an amazing life. Taylor Trickle subscribes to her.
I do want to say, I thought about this the other day, and I think this is a very beautiful thing, and it's crazy that it basically took a pandemic for it to really boost and get to like where it is now. But TikTok has just really been an amazing thing as far as showing how insanely talented human beings are. It's so many different things. Like before, we were not able to see that. That we're so shut off to other states and other cities and just everyone, other human beings around us, that we don't live near, in different countries and all that.
And TikTok and Instagram wasn't really like a
No.
video format thing, so you
but
could see
just
good
it's
photographers.
just like the art I see on that thing, the insane dances, the singing, like it's just absolutely insane, and it's so beautiful to see how absolutely talented us as human beings are.
And I think it is getting people like out of their shell enough to be like, oh, they're just doing that. Like, I personally see things, I'm like, I always try too hard, or I'm like, I have to make something perfect before I release it.
Perfectionist, I feel.
Yeah.
Big time.
Because I do think it's like controlling it enough that TikTok, like algorithm wise, the high produced stuff usually doesn't end up even going as far as like I sang this to my cell phone.
Dude, we would like make a video, put so much time into it, repurpose it, put it out there, and you get like a little bit of interaction with it.
And then
I put my mom on there with this frickin' and then I put the one on there where she has this like Scentsy thing that looks like a frickin' butt plug, and within like an hour there was 60,000 views, and then my phone wouldn't shut up, all because of an incense butt plug thing that I put on there, and my face being like, I don't think this is an incense thing.
The question, did you actually explain to her?
Yeah, I did, and she's like,
before or after the video?
I had her I was like, hey, show me how this thing works. So she comes over and she plugs it in, like I'm recording this massive silver butt plug looking freaking incense thing, and then like I turn the camera to me and I'm like, ooh, should I tell her,
Yeah.
weirdly enough, a bunch of people were like, I don't get it. You sheltered individual.
You prude.
Yeah. So then, I told my mom. She's like, I never thought that it looked like that, but now I do.
Now, mind
crazy.
you,
Google
I mean, the one that is in the video is like 10 times the size of an actual
Right.
butt plug.
That looks very scary
Yeah.
That would hurt your booty hole.
Yeah, definitely.
for
So
a long time.
yeah. I want to take it back to this because I think it's really important because I really want to tell you, and then I want to watch this with you later. I didn't get to see the whole interview, but have you seen the interview of Travis Barker talking about how he started his record company?
Mm-mm. I don't think so.
I literally saw maybe 3 minutes of it, and it was like just those 3 minutes were so amazing.
Did you cry?
I just wanted to watch. Like, he's. Ugh. So, for everyone, you know how, as a joke, right? You're like, you have that one person as your celebrity.
Mhm.
Like, you know, if
they walked in.
if Travis Barker showed up at our doorstep, and I answered the door, and he said he wanted to do whatever.
Are you trying to say fuck you? I feel like that's what you're hinting at. I just want to, for the audience.
Shane just wants to know if he will be included.
I want that and then all the other things.
I'll record it. Get some like B-roll of it for HoloTube.
Taylor, bring the S3s.
Yeah. We've got a movie production to go.
My ass would be out that door, but in 2 seconds. Like, he is just.
You don't think you'd like freeze? Like,
no.
She'd definitely make that face.
I've dreamt of this moment my entire
I'd be
life.
like, let's go.
So just to bring it back, though, you said one celebrity.
I guess you have two.
I have like more than two, but
well, two. We've talked about like our long list, but like he is my number one.
Dude, Emily Blunt. I'd suck a fart out of her butt.
That's a TikTok trend too. So
I would definitely. Oh God, Lord, dude. And then the chick from Marvel. I just can't stop. Augie's dying over there.
Which one?
Wanda.
Olsen.
Wanda, yeah.
Olsen
God,
girl?
yeah. I would drink her bath water. She is so.
Ew. See, I don't
beautiful.
think she's attractive.
Oh, she
I
is.
do.
Yeah.
I do not think she's attractive.
There's even like the way she carries herself.
Oh yeah. Climb that thing like a tree.
Emily Blunt, yes, I would do Emily Blunt. She's insane. She's beautiful. She's hilarious. She's just a total package.
I just imagine her like open the door. She's just like, "Oh Shane, I just love you. Put it in my asshole." I just
Arse. Arse. I don't know that I can name a specific one besides Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
I literally can't, like, I'm the worst at like remembering certain celebrities. Like if somebody's like, who's your celebrity crush? It used to be Demi Lovato, like growing up, like that was it for me.
Hopefully not anymore.
I don't keep up with her anymore.
There's
so.
that one chick that does.
She's
Taylor,
not really a she anymore.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Talking about Demi Lovato.
Yeah, she's like an
Yeah.
alien.
Yeah, she looks real bad.
She
Real
legit.
bad.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm just talking like Camp Rock days.
Yeah.
Like she was like her, I don't know. There's something about her that she was that Lindsay Lohan for a while, like through the Freaky Friday days.
Did you-
So you like all the mental chicks?
Yeah.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Bro, this is
Now you
Demi
know how I
Lovato
am.
now.
I was curious and I searched what is Demi Lovato,
What is?
and it came up just says non-binary and is a they them now.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah,
Me too.
I knew that. Yeah.
What about the one chick that does all the remakes? She's kind of a
I
celebrity.
really enjoy Rain Paris.
Yeah.
That's probably my biggest celebrity crush right now.
Yep.
That's that chick that I like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the hard
Yeah.
part is like we have a daughter on the way. So I was like I really almost wanted to name this baby Rain, and then I'm like I can't name.
Wait, you changed the name
You
of your
changed
child?
it?
I don't think I can name.
Okay,
her
but is it the
Rain.
name that? Did Becky tell you the name that her and I came up with?
The middle name.
The middle
Are you
name?
going with that? I don't think Taylor liked that.
That is the middle name, Leona.
What is the name? Oh, okay. So I don't know
Is
what
it
y'all
really?
talking about.
I finally told her the other day. It's like I think that's what we have to say.
What are you
Isn't
going
it
first name?
beautiful?
Oh yeah.
Shayna?
Augie.
I think Shayna. It's got to be Shayna.
I think
you say
Augie or
Shayna?
August would be fantastic.
Shayna.
No.
I actually at a wedding I did a few months ago, there was a little girl named August there.
No,
So,
that's
Yeah.
cute.
Aw.
So you could have an August Jr. and it could be a girl.
and it could be your daughter. That's so weird.
No, we haven't decided fully on a first name yet.
Really? I thought it was
Rain.
Rain.
I really liked it because it was Rayne.
I love it.
But
Rainy.
the Rain that I know is Rain Paris, and half of her videos are her half dressed and.
So?
You don't
Also,
want
I
that
just-
future for
I
your
just
daughter.
don't think of that when I don't want to think about Rain Paris, my celebrity crush, and my daughter.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, Rain,
named
come
Rain.
here, sweetheart, and then your mind subliminally goes to tits hanging out in a music video.
That has to be a male mind.
Oh, dude, we think about sex
'Cause
every
I
like
would not-
0.3 seconds. I've literally thought about sleeping with you 1,900 times since this podcast started.
On this table.
Yeah. And Augie like 30.
I'll take it.
I'll take what I can get. BBC.
Steve wants some love back there.
Oh my god.
You want?
Yeah, I'll tongue punch his fart box. Don't worry, I'll be back there. You can edit that one out.
Manila.
Okay, but can I get? I just want to tell you the part that I heard because I know
Travis
that you will
Barker.
appreciate
Yes.
this. So the gist of it is, and I seriously think that this is what the genre and just the music industry needs is more labels like him and because basically what he said was like when no matter who it is, if it's MGK, if it's Avril, Jada or no
Jaden.
Will or Jaden, Willow or any of them, like he's like, I give them my time. I don't care if it is 2:00 in the morning. I will wake up and I will answer them because
Yeah.
that is my responsibility. I'm not just a label. We are family.
Yeah.
We are friends. Like, and he's like, that does not change if I know someone from, like, he's known MGK for years, or if it's someone new.
Yeah.
Like, it's just really beautiful at how he made it his goal to change how the industry was, especially in the genre that he grew up in.
Yeah.
And he is just giving these people the chance to make the music that they want to make, and the way that they want to do it.
Yeah.
And all he is, and that's what he said, he's like, it's not me, I'm just there to support them.
Yeah. One is like one of the biggest times. So I grew up, and basically, I was a drummer, like was my first instrument, and so I gave that up eventually and moved into guitars, and now I've got Augie, and I don't even talk about being a drummer. So I don't claim that, but Derek Smith and Travis Barker were my two hands down favorite drummers, like who I wanted to be. Well, Derek Smith is Mod's son. So I was like, at one point, Mod's son got kicked out of the band that I was listening to, Four Letter Lie, got kicked out, and he didn't talk about this in his documentary, but he went to jail. Like, he was locked up. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I
and-
watched the documentary, by the way. If you have not watched it, it is one
So
of the
good.
best documentaries you will ever watch.
Yeah. And I was kind of depressed for a little bit because I was like, dang, like I really looked up to this dude. And in that stage, I was like sheltered homeschool boy, right? And I snuck pop punk music into my house. Like, we'd go to Walmart and I'd go like sneak to the thing and buy the CDs and would tell my mom it was a Christian band. Like, she didn't know.
Clever.
Blink-182, she didn't know. Good Charlotte. Like, anyways, so I was like, dang, like the dude, like he fell to drugs, his life's over. Like, and he disappeared out of my radar. But he was like who I wanted to be like. But he talks about it as well, that he wanted to drum like Travis Barker. So it also made sense. I was like, oh, they drum the same. They set their cymbals like this high. So they're like hitting up here. And so it's like,
Can you do that again, please?
look like a monkey. And so anyways, years later, I didn't even know, when I started falling in love with Mod's son, I didn't know Mod's son was Derek. Like, I didn't make that connection. He used to have crazy long hair, and now he's got like, you know, his hair looks cool now, but he had like that green look and everything.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing. Now I lost my train of thought.
You fell in love with Mod Son.
I did fall in love with my son, but I was like, the moment that separated, like, made me really respect Travis Barker, outside of just being like, that's the drummer.
He's just the drummer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say there's maybe one more above him.
Who is it?
Me. Okay.
No.
No, who would you say though? Because I don't know their drummers.
Who just passed away?
Oh yeah, Hawkins.
Because that's who Travis learned from.
Yeah.
So he's technically like the GOAT.
Is. But I never like followed him.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, even though Travis learned from him, I still think what Travis made of himself from it
100%
is absolutely amazing.
Unique.
Yep.
Unique. I'd never say there's like the best drummer in the world, just because there's so many different styles, and like people can be impressed by someone playing fast when someone playing something slow but technical is like actually way harder to do. And so it's like people say Neil Peart is like one of the I'll stop. I'm sorry. I'm like, but yeah, it's interesting.
But he had said at one moment, it was Mark Hoppus from Blink-182, and they were talking about Travis's drive, and they were like, dude, we will be waking up at like noon, 10 p.m. at the earliest, and because we just played a late show, like we played until midnight, you know, and we're drunk, we're hungover in the morning. Travis has already ran like 5 to 10 miles. He's working on producing his second song of the day, and he's like always working like on the road. So he like goes and plays this, and he is the only one that truly practices every day before he goes back on stage. Mm-hmm. He's like, we don't do that. We got the songs down, but Travis is back there just warming up on his drum pads, and he's like going through. That's Travis day in, day out. And I was like, damn, like that is a drive. And so that when I heard that Mark Hoppus interview, it just took Travis like from this, like, he's a talented drummer that I look up to like, no, he's like driven across the board. And then he goes and starts DTA, and then he signs Jaden because he believed in Jaden, and did all of like these artists start coming and working with him. And I remember he and Avril were talking about her signing with GTA.
I'm so fucking stoked that she's back.
Yeah,
like,
I am too.
I love Avril.
Like my daughter, that is who she's in love with. So like my 7-year-old that is in love with Avril Lavigne and has her entire new album memorized. I'm
Good
like,
for her.
She's in love with an emo girl.
That's not her.
No, but it's still a song though.
It's still
a
song.
funny
Stay out of
reference.
this.
I got it, bro.
You don't even know.
It's like your daughter's listening to Avril Lavigne and mine's listening to like We Don't Talk About Bruno. Disney.
I want to ride. I want to ride. I want to ride. I want to ride. No, and it's like that whole thing went down where Travis got a hold of her, and he said he was excited that she was kind of working on some stuff again, and he was like, "Have you signed with anybody yet?" And she said, "Yes."
Oh.
And he's like, dang. He's like, he didn't say dang, but he was just like, I just thought that it would be a really good fit if you would come work with GTA.
Yeah. And
it would work well, and I think it would be perfect. But I'm excited for you. And she's like, hold on. I think that's all. She's hold on. And then she comes back. She's like, dude, let's fucking do this. And so they start trying to work on it. And Travis like, well, just because of the way things were going, like it actually wasn't going to work out. She had contracts, all this stuff. And so it was a few days later after we had basically like, this isn't going to work. It was a good try. I opened my phone to text her, and I see bubbles. Like I see bubbles, and I'm like, she's texting me. And I'm going to say like, hey, it was a good run. Like I'm super stoked for what you're about to put out. I'm excited for this. And then she literally responded and said, bro, we're doing this. And she got everything worked out to where she could come and sign with DTA.
How in the hell did she get out of that?
I'm like, well, she's Avril Lavigne, and she's never been the person that like just settles for anything.
That's true.
So she is like fuck this, I'm going to go do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But to be like, that speaks so highly of both of them, really.
Mm-hmm.
Avril's a legend. Travis is a legend. and they're just like, we want to work together. And there's like humility in that, and just like, man, her being like here, you know, and she's like, I want to work with him, and like there's just like this respect. And so it's just kind of cool to hear when you think of like, it seems like a whole different world, like the celebrity world, and like Travis and Avril and whatever, but they're just humans. And he was stoked to be like, man, we could do some really cool stuff together. And she's like, yeah, let's do this. And she did whatever it took. I don't know what it took. And Travis didn't even say what it took. He was just like, now we're doing it. She signed a TTA. And
that's how she met Maud's son, was through Travis.
Yeah, which is insane.
And then he got the balls and I'm pretty sure, didn't they say that in the documentary, that he got Avril's phone number from Travis and asked if she would come down and be a part of his song. Yeah,
he's like, they were talking on like something hit up on Instagram, and then she was like, "That's so punk rock."
Yeah,
and then he's like, Avril Lavigne.
Yeah,
like
he freaked out like a little kid, and now they're engaged.
Yes,
so cute.
And he's like, they're talking like, "Who are you working with?" And he said, "My boy Feldy." And I think Travis and John Feldman are the only ones that are staying true to like the way it should be in like the producer world, especially that genre. And so he's like, my boy Feldy. He's like, we're working on something right now. You should come through to the studio. And I'm like, come through to the that was like a term that I hadn't heard yet, and now it's everywhere. But it's like, come through to the studio. She's like, yeah, I think I will. And I'm like, bro, this dude's like in love with Avril Lavigne before. And he's like, she's gonna come through to the studio. And what's so funny, I love watching their reaction, because he is very expressive and just like, oh my god,
just like,
this is
he's
like, my new single, yeah, here we go. He's like that, and Avril's just like, cool.
Yeah.
And so like when they're in the studio, he's freaking out. She's singing, I still burn for you.
Yeah.
And he's just like freaking out, and she's like, it's a good song, guys. Like, it's a good song. And he's like, it's a great song. It's just like the way they work together, and
they equal each other out. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that was something that Maud's son, the whole flow of me like realizing that was Derek and being like, oh, he's really like real, talking about his story. He's very vulnerable. That's how I started to respect MGK again, was because they're like best friends.
Yeah.
And like the moment of like, in that documentary, when I can't remember exactly what the award was, but Machine Gun Kelly and Maud's son, like on whatever song that was, I forget at this moment, but they were winning this huge award, and Maud comes out, I was like, dude, tell me that again. And MGK is like, for the first time ever, whatever the award was, he's like, Machine Gun Kelly and Maud's son, and they're just like, it was a moment that it makes me think of a lot of things like Shane and I, when like big things happen like with the company or whatever. And it's just like you're in a wow moment, and then they end it. He's like, I love you, man. I love you too.
Like when we seen the new magazine cover that we shot for, I freaked out on that one.
You did it. We made it.
On the cover of Splurge magazine.
So you guys just got a whole glimpse of how we like shut Shane out for a little bit, and then Ash and I are in our own little world.
Yeah, we do this a lot. Yeah.
I like it though. It gives me some peace and quiet now and then when they do that. So
he just kind of, it's my time to just relax. Yeah. It's nice though. How long have we gone there,
He's trying
Augie?
to kick me under the table.
An hour and 50 minutes.
Hour 50.
Oh.
Yep.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I don't think we should talk about the will, and that's like so old news.
The slap?
Okay.
Do you want to?
Yes.
Okay.
Because this is literally gonna be split up and be a TikTok right now.
Okay.
Here we go. TikTok.
Action.
Okay, so as we all know, something happened at the Oscars.
What happened at the Oscars, Ashton?
Name out your fucking mouth.
No, fucking. Sucking. Looking, dicking, ticking.
All right, so yeah, what happened at the Oscars? Ashton.
Well, I didn't actually watch the Oscars.
I didn't either.
But obviously we've all seen what happened. So Chris Rock got up, made a joke about Jada's alopecia, but didn't say alopecia, didn't say anything about it. Basically called her a G.I. Jane because she has a bald head. She did not like it. Camera goes to her immediately after the joke, and her response.
Can you bring the camera to me real quick?
No, I was gonna do it. And her response is,
You did that perfectly. It's
Yeah.
like you practiced that at home.
Sitting in the mirror.
"Well, I mean, I am with you,
Yeah.
so
She does that face a lot.
I get practice a lot." No. So then, at the same time that Jada is reacting with her rolled eyes, Will is laughing, and then it cuts and goes back to Chris, so you can't see kind of like what's happening in the moment between Jada and Will. But obviously she didn't like it because Will went from laughing to getting up, strutting on stage. It wasn't even a punch. It was like a slap.
It wasn't like a slap. It was a slap.
He basically
bitch slapped the shit out of him.
slapped him,
Play the clip
turned around and walked back, and
with
then
a strut.
and then Chris Rock basically was like, "Wow."
He had this weird
Will-
smirk on his
Will
face when he
Smith just
strutted
smacked
too.
the
He's like,
shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he basically said,
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
yeah.
Fucking.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Yeah. So
I will.
I
will.
will give you my opinion, because at first I don't like when people make fun of other people's medical conditions.
Yeah.
I don't care if you are a fucking comedian. I don't care who you are. Your job in this world as a human being is to be kind. And I don't think that you should make fun of something that is out of that person's control.
Yeah.
If they have gotten themselves into a situation, make fun of them all day long because they made that choice. But, I called Shane, like, I was on TikTok and I finally saw it, and then he called me and I like went on this rant, and I was just like, dude, like, that's so fucked up. Like, do not make jokes about someone in the way, number one, a woman's appearance that I'm sure she's super self-conscious about, I'm sure she's embraced it and all that, but she can't help it. Right.
Yeah, right.
Now, her as a person, like how she reacted, and I totally believe that Will got up on that stage solely because he is the puppet and she is the puppet master. I think that he paid
The ultimate price.
the ultimate price and the consequences technically when she should have, because the only reason why he got on that stage is because I guarantee she did not like it and she wanted him to stick up. Now, did I think that she said, get up on that stage and slap him? Do I think that he made that choice on his own? Yes. Do I think he made an irrational choice? Yes. But also, you should never condone violence,
Right.
especially on live television. And the fact that he was able to continue and act like nothing happened and got up on that stage and accepted his award,
Was able to
and
give a speech.
give a speech and cry and all that. Like, no.
It would have been beautiful if Chris Rock then walked up during his acceptance speech and slapped the shit out of him.
Or Will was like, bro,
Yeah.
come on.
The thing
Give it to me.
that is funny is, I mean, it's kind of light as to what Chris Rock could have said.
And I agree.
Chris Rock could have sat there and made a joke about the fact that Will Smith's wife has been fucking Will Smith's son's best friend.
Yeah.
That could have been a joke.
In some
You know,
sense, like this might just be me being naive. Do you think that Chris knew that she has that, or just he was making a joke?
I know.
Because I didn't know she had it. I never heard of that before.
Oh, really?
Never heard of alopecia?
No, never heard of it in my life.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what I still don't know what it is.
It's where
you
you're a
have
narcissistic bitch that controls Will Smith.
Yeah, no.
We need to, instead of free Britney, we need to like start
Free will?
hashtag free will.
Free Willy?
Yeah, free Willy.
Yeah, I literally was like, okay, like if he didn't know, like the me's in the world, and just made a joke, it's like, oh, she's got a new haircut. and just make a joke like
that could
he makes a joke.
possibly be that could be a thing. It totally could.
But that's
the only way
that's
that
the naive homeschooler in me.
The only reason why I don't think that is because aren't Chris and Will friends technically?
Yeah.
So I think anybody that knows Will
true.
is going to know that Jada has alopecia.
He
And she posts about it all the time.
That's probably why he made the joke, because he's friends with Will.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
they're
like,
if they're friends, like you're saying, they are, like, would Will not, if when he speaks about the alopecia, do you not feel like he'd be like, yeah, you just got alopecia, like she's super sensitive about it? Like, I feel like you'd set that boundary. You know what I mean? Like, if you had it and all of a sudden, I feel like I'd be like, yeah, Ashley's got alopecia, I'm super sensitive about it. And Taylor would be like, I don't even know what alopecia is.
That's why she's bald. I thought she was trying something new. No, and I remember there was a little like Kevin Hart's reaction on a little podcast, and he was like, I wasn't even watching. He's like, but next thing I know, I look up, and right there I see, I don't think he was there. I think from what I heard, he was just watching it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, two of my best friends are on the stage together, and then next thing you know, Will smacked the shit out of him. I'm like, I need to get both of them on the phone right now and figure this out. He's like, what is going on between, I got to fix this. And then I sent it to you, and you've seen it already, but that TikTok where somebody spliced together a Kevin Hart skit.
Keep fucking my wife's mouth. That's the best one they've spliced
It is
together.
the best one.
Keep fucking my wife's
And
mouth.
doesn't Chris Rock go,
I'm going to. I'm going
to. Yeah.
And then he cuts to Chris Rock. He's like, can't wait to see you.
And then
Something
Will's like,
that.
no, like there was the one that's like, because there's the skit where Kevin Hart is, it's from one of his recent stand-ups, and it's like the kids say something to his wife.
Don't mind me.
The kids, and basically his wife was like, you gonna keep letting them disrespect us like that? And he's like, us? I didn't hear anything about us. And so anyways, they spliced this together, like Kevin Hart's skit with the Will Smith.
Oh, yes.
So it literally sounded like it was a Will Smith thing. He's like, us? I didn't hear anything about us. And then he's like, so he marches up, and it shows a Will marching up, and it's like Will, but that's like Kevin Hart's voice, and he's like, I got smacked the shit out of you. And and then Chris Rock's like, what'd I do? And he's like, I don't know, but she said either smack the shit out of you or get the shit smacked out of me. And he's like, I choose you. So it's like, yeah. So that was I ruined it.
I do think Chris got the shit end of the deal. Like, I mean, obviously you could see where Denzel and Bradley Cooper were like, checking up on Will after it happened, and it's fun. It's very interesting to see how split the opinions were in the celebrity world as far as that whole thing. There was a lot of people, more so women, that stuck up for Jada, just because our physical appearance is definitely judged a lot more than men. And again, you should, that's something very private for her, and it needs to stay that way. That shouldn't have been brought up, if that's where he was going with the joke, because there were some people that were like, you should take that as a compliment. G.I. Jane's a badass bitch, which she totally is.
Yeah.
But I personally don't think that that's what he was saying with that joke.
I think he was just making a comment on her hair, and maybe he knew the alopecia. Maybe he straight up just was like.
So speaking of that, I did some research, and according to two websites that definitely are not
reliable.
According to Chris Rock's brother, he said that Chris did not know about the alopecia, but he just was making a joke about her bad hairstyle. So I mean,
see, that was my instant reaction, was like, because I didn't know about the alopecia, so I'm like, why are they getting so defensive? Like, she cut her own hair off. Like, that was me. And
the thing, this is where he went wrong, and I'm really shocked that he broke in this way, because I feel like Will Smith is a very professional person, and he's like, he is known to be
taser on his
focused.
dick. It's like, fix it.
Is it bad that I legit, when I first heard it, was getting excited because I thought there was a G.I. Jane 2 movie coming out?
And
like
that
when I first seen the clip, it came up like on my TikTok. in the morning, and that's how I was trying to show it to you, remember? And he was like, can't wait for G.I. Jane 2. And I was like, oh shit, there's a G.I. Jane 2 coming out. I was Oscars. I didn't think anything crazy. Can't wait to see it. And I'm like, me either. And then Will Smith walks up and just like, whap. And I'm like,
Richard.
oh, do you not want to see the movie? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's rights and there's wrongs in the whole thing. And, you know, I think that the main thing that the main negative thing that was taken away from that whole thing was he won that Oscar for playing one of the most amazing roles. I've seen that movie. It was one that Shane made me sit down and watch, and I absolutely loved it. He took that away from them. He took that moment away from them. Yeah. That was their moment.
Yeah.
And they were there.
Yeah.
To celebrate their life and their father, and, you know, telling the story and telling their story and how they became the badass bitches that they are. Mm-hmm. And that moment for them was completely taken away by him.
Yeah.
All he had to do was sit his ass in that damn chair.
Yeah. And that was the thing that I was like, I'm a huge Will Smith fan. Always have been. And so it's like, I wanted so hard to play his card, like his side of the table so bad. Like, yeah. But on the same sense, like there's like the entitlement of like, I can do this. Like he's literally like,
that's kind of how I thought
nobody
too.
stood up on that stage and just went and smacked a dude. Like that's not, he was the first in history to go do that.
Yeah.
And then he walks away with swag, and I'm like, do I look at the dude like, he's such a fucked up human now? Like, no, I don't.
No.
He's a human being.
He's a human being and who is broken.
Yeah. And he did stand up in front of all of these people.
Still a choice that he made.
And he walked on this stage like there's a lot of way more, in my opinion, like egotistical people in that room that have controlled themselves on whatever. And he just stood up and went and did it. And the Chris Rock like poking at their marriage was not new anyways. Like Chris Rock's always like made jokes about Jada and
and you definitely shouldn't use mental health things as reasons to do things, but also, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's come out with him being completely emasculated in his own marriage and all that. And I mean, that probably has a lot to do with getting up there and getting a little bit of his manhood back. And I mean, I feel for both of them. I think it's a shitty situation. And Oscars came out and was like 10-year ban, dude.
Yep.
Do you think he's just, I wonder where he's going to go from here, you know? Like, I wonder if he's just going to take a... Well, I mean, like, I can't imagine anyone hiring him anytime soon.
I'd hire him.
WWE might. That was a hell of a slap, dude.
Come on.
Don't they have those like slapping tournament things?
Fucking ain't nobody gonna go against him.
Up and just pop.
But let's talk about that fact of Chris Rock just taking it like a man, dude. Just like boom, I just got slapped by Will Smith.
And then it even like when they zoom in on him on the next award that's given, and like they come up on stage and he's just standing in the back like.
Yeah, it's like replaying it in his head.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
if
like
that were
PTSD.
I mean, good for him for staying professional and like taking his job serious as the host and like getting through it. But like, I guess he wasn't even the host really.
No.
It was, and
it's just
that was also something else I loved about. He came out and what is her name? Is it Rosie? No.
Rose?
The three women, right? Amy Schumer. There were three women that were technically the hosts of the show.
I don't know.
I didn't watch it.
One of the ladies, she went on Ellen and she told her side of it because obviously she was the host and like the girls were in the back getting changed and so they didn't see it happen. But she was 100% with Chris on the whole thing. She was pissed and she said what she wanted to say on Ellen. But
it's Jim Carrey too.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He straight up did. But you know, she said that Chris she talked to Chris after, like, on break when they went back in the back of the whatever of the Oscars, you know, and the first thing that he did didn't even, like, nothing about himself. He apologized to those 3 women for taking away their moment as women being able to host the Oscars. He apologized to them.
Yeah,
that's amazing for him. My prediction for the future of this situation, it's the last thing I'll say on it, is I personally think that they're going to use it to go on the red table that is the Will Smith show, and him and Chris Rock will sit down and they'll have a conversation about it, and they'll make fucking millions of dollars.
I
predict that will happen.
Well, you don't have to predict that, because it's already happening. Like, they've already confirmed that Jada and Will has immediately after it happened. Of course, all these news outlets were contacting him saying, like, come interview with us, blah blah blah. He turned down every single one, no matter how big they were, and he right away came out and said, I will only be talking about this on the red table.
Yeah, and Chris Rock will too.
Yeah,
that's what I bet. And I'm going to get him on there.
Of course.
And at the end, they'll hug. And
if anyone needs to be canceled, nope. I mean, honestly, it's Jada. Jada just needs to be fucking canceled.
Yep.
Cancel Jada.
Hashtag.
And on that note.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're at a couple hours.
Yeah,
we'll make this a part 1 of probably 100. So,
yeah,
let's wrap it up.
We should start just like a mini segment of where Ash and I just get on and talk about music, and that's
We should
Oh,
do
hell
wait for
yeah.
that.
We should do one where we get on and we just talk about like recent events. We'll do like a recent events one, maybe do
We should
like
write
20
down
minutes.
these topic like
like when I woke up and I seen the Will Smith thing, we should have like sent out a group text and been like, yo, potty
we
tonight.
gotta do this
in the
today.
studio now.
Yeah.
I'll skip work.
Yeah. Can we talk about Kim and Pete next time, because I could talk about them all day.
Did you hear about
Pete
the Kim
Davidson?
Kardashian?
Yes.
Did you hear about the Kim Kardashian sex tape thing?
Yeah. It's not it. I just watched the first episode. Ray J, who the sex tape was with
Yeah,
originally.
I think everybody knows that.
Ray J's lawyer, I believe. Is that right? Lawyer? For Kim Kardashian's. I feel weird talking to her about this. Kim Kardashian's, on the first episode of the Kardashians, when she's in her closet crying because Ray J's lawyer contacted them and said that there's a piece of her sex tape from years ago floating around that
Her son found it.
her son found. Yeah,
Shoot.
her son. It was recorded when it happened, the moment, and then they put it in the show. They're at Kim's for a barbecue. It was for like the opening of the show, so they kind of like tell you where each person is, and then they all join there. They're inside and they're eating, and then Saint, her son, and I believe that's her youngest son,
He's like 6.
comes over with his iPad and is showing her something and is laughing and is like, this is so funny, and is like showing Kim what it is. And Kim Kim's like, well, what are you trying to show me or whatever? There is an app that has Kim's crying face on it that basically, if you click on it, it goes into like this explanation saying that there's unreleased, it's going to take you to unreleased footage never before seen of Kim's sex tape. That there's some footage that's still there that supposedly Ray J and his lawyer have, and that like it's gonna all come out again, right? So later on the show, you know, her and her sisters and her mom are in her closet, and she's immediately on top of it. It's awful. Like, she is a celebrity, I get it, but like she took that in a private moment, you know, and I don't think she ever thought that someone that also participated would have done that to her, you know? That's shit.
No.
But she starts crying because she's like my son brought me that. Like my son could have literally clicked on that and taken it to whatever it was trying to pull up, right? So she's on the phone with her lawyer, and she's on the phone with maybe her publicist or something. I don't know who the chick is, but they don't think that it's true. They think they're trying to get publicity from it. Yeah. But she's saying, she was like, but there is an app with my face on it, and that's what it's saying, that it is unreleased footage to her sex tape, and it was on her son's iPad. And then she starts crying. She's like, it's on my son's iPad.
Dang. What was the app called?
I've actually never. Has anyone seen?
Scan the room for
Kim's
cameras.
sex tape. Have you seen Kim's sex tape?
Oh God, yes.
Have you?
It's awful.
Is it really?
She is not that. Nothing impressive.
I want to watch it. I want to watch it.
We can put like ours up on one side of the screen and hers up on the other, and do a comparison if you want. Like,
would I make more money than her in that? Oh,
girl, you're destined for the industry.
Yes. And on that note.
Yeah. But seriously, it's been great. Sorry we had to record this second time.
I'm not, because this one actually was better, in my opinion.
I mean, there was some cool personal stuff in there, but
I talked more about me.
Yeah. But no need to go back into that. But yeah, this is definitely needs to be a thing. I seriously, if news comes out, I say we just do like little 20-minute ones here and there. Augie, man, have you made a difference?
I haven't even thought about the cameras, which is really cool.
One that.
No, I just love I love, like, while we're talking, you have like little side notes. It's so cool.
The only failure you had is I tried to not explain alopecia to Taylor. I figured you were going to look it up and give the definition on Webster, but other than that, it was a perfect showing.
Never.
You're fired, but you will be
great.
You will be rehired for the next one.
But this has been an amazing one. We'll do plenty more with Ash, and the rest of them will be a Loggy. We'll keep them here from now on because this was amazing.
Yes.
Love you
thank
guys.
you to our guest that was watching as well. We appreciate you.
Where are you looking right now?
They're behind us. I can't turn my head that much and talk in the mic. Yep, there they are.
Oh yeah.
Yay! Thank you to our guests for watching.
Yes.
This has been Unfiltered with
Taylor
and Shane. Goodbye.